Today we're going to be talking about PayPal. PayPal recently announced that they are going to jump into the advertising business. And we're going to go over what this could mean for PayPal by comparing it to a company who has made a similar jump in the last few years, and that is Uber. So if you enjoyed the video, drop a like down below, and if you want to see more videos like this one, make sure to subscribe. PayPal is jumping into the advertising business to try and unlock more value for investors, and they're hoping that this will translate into growth for the stock as well. We can see that over the course of the last year, the stock has basically traded sideways, down 1.5%. However, it gets worse when you look at the last 5 years, as this stock has fallen almost 45% from where it was trading at 5 years ago in 2019, and from its all-time highs of $310, the stock is down almost 80%. The biggest reason that PayPal is down over the course of the last 5 years has to do with valuation. Over 2017 through 2020, the free cash flow for PayPal grew significantly from around $1.8 billion to $5.4 billion. And when investors saw this, they saw a lot of growth potential ahead for PayPal. However, since 2018, the free cash flow for this company has gone completely flat. In 2018, they brought in $4.6 billion of free cash flow, and in 2023, that number actually shrunk to $4.2 billion of free cash flow. So ultimately, PayPal sees the advertising business as potentially having a big impact on their free cash flow into the future. When I first heard of this move from PayPal, I thought it seemed a little bit off from their typical revenue streams. However, the more I think about it, the more it makes sense for a company like PayPal to get into the advertising business. They have millions of active accounts. We're talking about 427 million active accounts as of last quarter. And of those accounts, they're averaging around 60 transactions per account. So these users are active, they're buying things on the platform using PayPal, and PayPal is getting all of that data. And right now they're doing nothing with it. However, advertisers would pay a lot of money to understand people's spending habits. And one of the strong points of PayPal's business has been their total payment volume. In Q1 of 2024, they brought in $403 billion of total payment volume. That is up 14% year over year. And they're on track to bring in over $1 trillion of total payment volume. This means there are more and more people buying goods on PayPal and using PayPal to buy certain items. And again, this is perfect data for advertisers to help them understand what type of ads to use to target people. And PayPal is bringing in Mark Grether from Uber Technologies to lead this new ad business. Mark has experience from Uber as they started their ad business back in October of 2022. And in less than 2 years, he grew that business to over $1 billion of revenue. I looked through Uber's earnings announcements to see if there's any good data around their advertising business. And there isn't a whole lot in terms of direct numbers. However, here in the second quarter of 2023, so almost a year ago now, and a little less than a year after they actually started their ad business, they were expecting their run rate revenue from advertising to exceed $650 million. And this year, analysts are expecting Uber's ad revenue to come in well over $1 billion. And in the fourth quarter of 2023, they had grown their advertising merchants to over 550,000, which was up 75% year over year. And when we think about the growth that Uber has experienced in their ad business, they have done all of that with 149 million monthly active users. PayPal, on the other hand, has over 400 million active users. So Mark should be coming into a very good situation as there are more eyes to advertise to, and merchants are going to see this opportunity to get their products in front of more and more people and should be willing to pay a little bit extra to get more targeted ads than what you would see with something like Uber. And in terms of top line growth, this doesn't necessarily have a significant impact for a business like Uber because their revenue right now is sitting at $38.5 billion of trailing 12-month revenue. That means $1 billion extra is fairly insignificant when it comes to the grand scheme of things. However, for the bottom line, this has a much bigger impact. Ads are a very high margin business, and we can see that Uber over the course of the last couple of years has done a very good job of flipping their profitability. They were sitting at a negative $3.3 billion of free cash flow in 2020. However, by 2023, they have completely flipped that number to a positive $3.3 billion billion of free cash flow. Again, not all of that is coming from advertising revenue, but it is certainly having an impact on their free cash flow. And this large flip in free cash flow has had a significant impact on their stock price. We could see that their ad business started around October of 2022, and since then the stock is up over 130%. So obviously all of these gains are not coming from the ad business. If the ad business is only bringing in $1 billion, it's not attributing for $3.3 billion of free cash flow. However, with the margins of the ad business, I'm sure it is having an impact on their bottom line in a very positive way. Uber has also made other shifts in their business to make it more profitable, but the advertising business coming in is definitely a growth vector into the future that can have a big impact not only for Uber, but also for PayPal down the line. And as I mentioned, PayPal is probably in a better position to capitalize on this as they have larger monthly active users, as well as they are directly selling items. Uber is just selling rides. They sell rides to locations, so maybe Uber is offering deals based off those locations and where people are traveling to. However, PayPal has a lot broader market as they are selling items online and they can get that data and push ads based off what people are buying. Their revenue is also sitting at $30.4 billion, so a $1 billion impact to PayPal has a little bit more revenue growth than what we would see from an Uber who's sitting around $35 billion of revenue. But the bigger impact for PayPal would be the translation to the bottom line, the free cash flow growth that the ad business could spur. And what that could lead to over the course of the next 2 to 3 years is, let's say, $1 to $3 billion worth of ad revenue. If they're able to achieve that, that could potentially translate down to a $500 to $1 billion of free cash flow growth. And that would get them back on track on growing their free cash flow over time. And the advertising business is still something that is growing at a significant clip. We saw Amazon's advertising revenue grow by 24% in the first quarter of 2024. And in the first quarter, Amazon brought in $11.8 billion. Meta was also able to grow their ad revenue by 27% year over year to $36.5 billion. Alphabet or Google grew their ad revenue to $61.66 billion. That's up 13% year over year. Their YouTube ad revenue actually grew 21% year over year to $8 billion. And even Snapchat was able to grow their revenue by 21% to $1.1 billion. So this is definitely a market that has a lot of growth in front of it and can add to PayPal's profitability. I think that that will be the biggest impact. If we can see them get back to significant free cash flow growth, that should have a positive impact on the stock price. And we should start seeing valuations come up in a major way for PayPal too. It's trading at a very low PE ratio right now, but if we start seeing growth creep back into the business, especially on the bottom line, that could lead to higher and higher valuations for the stock. But as I always mention, do not buy a company just because I talked about it. Make sure you are doing your own research and looking into companies that meet your risk tolerance as well as your time horizon. With all of that said, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like down below. And if you want to see more videos like this one, make sure to subscribe. And as always, guys, have a wonderful rest of your day. And for the joke of the day, what do you call a snake that loves to build houses? Check the comments down below for the answer. Thanks for watching.